Hey everyone, today I'm sharing a card featuring two of the newest stamp sets from Ink on 3, Sweetest and Donut You Know. I am starting off by stamping out the images from both of the sets, and they're mainly the main images. In the Sweetest stamp set, you'll see that there is a large donut with a mouse on it, and then a smaller donut with a smaller mouse on it, except it's the reverse. And quite a few of Ink on 3's stamp sets include this, and I wanted to show how to use them in a card. I am stamping out with Blackout ink, which is Ink on 3's black ink. It's Copic friendly, and I will be doing Copic coloring for this card today. And then once I finish stamping, I also use the ink off cloth just to wipe off all the excess ink, and then ink off ink pad, which is a cleaner ink pad. I just place it all over, and I'll use that cloth again to wipe it all down. And they're just for my card itself. I originally had gone in wanting to do a scene card without any masking, and this is how it turned out. I also ended up not wanting to blend the background at all, so it's technically not a scene card, but it still kind of is because of the images I used. So like I mentioned, the Sweetest has this bigger image of the donut and a smaller image, and they're just the same image, smaller size, reverse. And I tend to play with a lot of the depth and perception of sizing to create my scene cards. And what I'm imagining is that these items are out on a desk, and I have the two larger items towards the front and then the smaller item in the back. So this works really well. I know that Ink on 3 has a lot of these items where they have the duplicate image except reverse, and I wanted to share how to use it. So it's very fun for scene cards especially. I am going in with my coloring like normal with my Copic colors. I do 3 colors, a dark, medium, and light. I'll go in with the darkest where I want all the shadows in the darkest area to be. And then I'll go in with my medium and then blend out the rest with my lightest. For the cake, I wanted it to look a little shiny, so I left some white areas, which looks really weird when you look at it closely. But when you look at the card from far away or as a finished product, it looks like an highlight. So I think that I had trouble when I started coloring, leaving that white highlight, but it really adds to the effect of having something shiny or just having that highlight look. For the cake itself, I actually went in, colored the entire cake with my lightest color, and then I went in with each of the colors that gets a little bit darker. So I started with the E23, then I went in and stippled a bunch of dots with the E25, E27, and then E29, just to give that like effect of cake. So I did a chocolate cake. I love chocolate cake, so that's what I went with. And then for the donuts, I'm just going with a typical donut color. I did pick a different brown just to have a little bit of contrast. And then I love pink and red, especially because they have heart sprinkles on them. So those were the colors that I went for. So yes, this card is very color heavy, but I wanted to include the coloring in case you guys like that. I do a lot of scene cards, which requires a lot of coloring, and I really just was kind of in a funk with my coloring and my card making right now. I just came back from Vegas this past weekend, and then I'm actually going back to Vegas again this following weekend. It was because of a rescheduled trip, one I had in December, and I had to cancel that, and then it just had to work out this way, which leaves me a little bit tired. I love vacation, except I always feel like I need a vacation after my vacations, and I think most people agree, and especially if you're going to Vegas, you do. I tend to go mainly for drinking, gambling, and food. Mostly food, because there's so many good places to eat out there. There's just so many different restaurants that open up all the time. And I live in San Francisco. We have a ton of restaurants here too, but I tend to be a homebody at home, even though there's a lot of nightlife, a lot of activities to do in the city. But like when I go on vacation, that's actually when I like go out and I like to do things. So it's kind of weird, but that's just how I am. But before I leave for Vegas this weekend, I'm going to the Scrapbook Expo. It's a event that is hosted around the country. There's like so many different cities that they actually pop up at. And my friend Amanda from Pear Blossom Press actually invited me to help her out with the make and takes, which I think is going to be so fun. I'm only going to be able to be there in the morning because I need to get home and pack so I can get ready to go on my trip. And I will be assisting her with doing make and takes featuring her easy lights. And I haven't used them in a really long time, but I was obsessed with them quite a bit ago, and I kept making cards with them. So I think that I'm going to have to pull them out again, because since I've used them last, there have been so many different little new products coming out. There's the one light, there's the halo lights. I just haven't had a chance to use them because I do spend a lot of time with design team projects, but this year I've been really working hard to incorporate different companies, different products into my cards. And so I think this is one of the first videos for Ink on 3 that I've done this year. And I think it's a really fun one. I know Florette is coming out with a lot more new stamp sets this year, and she's being a little bit more consistent with her releases. So I think her images are usually super cute. They're usually like cute critters or floral images, and this was part of the February release. It's sort of geared towards Valentine's Day, but not really, because it was released after Valentine's Day, and it's something that can be used year round. So here I am actually finishing up with the coloring. I just like to ground all my images, and that really adds to that look of depth. And because this is a solid white card, I tend to want to matte everything because it's easier to take photos. It just looks better with that pop of color. So I went and trimmed down the sides by 1/4 inch, and I will be matting it on red cardstock. And this is my trick for matting things so it is straight before I really adhere it down to my cardstock. I use double-sided adhesive. I kind of like turn up the ends of the release paper just a little bit, and I'll place it down, and once I have it ready, I'll press down on the corners, and that will adhere to the cardstock. Then I'll remove the release paper, and you have a finished card. So yeah, this is my card for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye.